Hi, well, uh, hi everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you connecting from. Today, I have the pleasure to interview a great, marketer and an absolute legend, of a man that I've been knowing for a few years, yeah, I'm so happy for it. So let's dive into it and introduce my new guest for today, Bilal. Hi, Bilal. How are you?
Hi, Toni. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Thanks. Very well. How are you feeling today?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Ready to go.
Of course, we're ready. We're ready as
Yeah.
always.
So I guess you're connecting from the office. Been busy week. How's things going over
Yeah,
there?
we're busy. We're busy. Everything. We're busier than we were this time last year, like everybody else. So, just planning, moving forward day by day.
Sounds great. Sounds great. That's what I wanted to hear. Now let's. Up today we're going to talk about for people that watching, listening. Today we're going to talk about social media. Obviously, talking to Bilal. Bilal, introducing Bilal. Bilal, social media, running a social media agency called Social Lipstick, and they're based in Manchester. They've been growing very fast recently, as I'm aware. I mean, I've not had the chance to talk much to Bilal recently, but I know they've been growing and they've been working hard and doing really well in different social media channels that they really do a good job. And also Bilal, as well as entrepreneur running some business. He also hosts a podcast. Well, two podcasts. Am I right? You
Well,
right?
I used to have two. I've just got the one now, which is
Okay.
I used to have one on mental health, and then I used to have one on. I have got the current one, which is more on social media. But yeah, just the one at the moment.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, it's difficult to keep two, so I guess you gotta decide in
Difficult to
those
keep
moments.
one.
To keep one, that's exactly to keep it going. So yeah, and very great, very great to have you. And we're also going to talk
Thank you.
about mental health, because mental health is something that obviously it's been becoming more. People been talking more about recently, which is a good thing. Be more open about, well, when you run your own business, or even when you're on social media, stuff like that, with mental health plays a big game, and we need to be all aware of things that people don't really share much about it, and all of that. So let's dive into it. My first very question is all about, tell people, how did you start how did you become an entrepreneur, and why was it? Why did you do it?
I My background is I finished university in 2008, and I graduated in advertising and marketing because digital marketing did not exist then. Digital marketing was websites, and that was it. And roundabout, so I worked for about 2 years, and then friends started approaching me, asking me, "Can you set up a Facebook profile?" In them days, pages didn't exist. It was literally a profile for a business, and people would add the profile as a friend. And then it became, "Oh, can you help set us up on Instagram? Can you help us with content?" Now there's something called Snapchat, and I evolved as a freelancer for about 7 years, 8 years I did it. And I had, in between that, I worked as a contractor for the businesses in social and digital. But realistically, my road to setting up an agency was, I just felt the people I'd worked for or I'd seen in the market were doing the bare minimum rather than the maximum. And I felt there was an opportunity for people to come in and what we would call over servicing clients and delivering more than what they asked for and doing good jobs. And that's why I set up Lipstick, really.
Because I know you, and you like good big challenges. You know, you for what I know, Bilal likes, taking challenges and
Yeah,
is good.
so sometimes my staff look at me as well, thinking, "Why have you committed to this?" Or why? And my actual goal, and Toni will know this because me and Toni used to share an office together. Is literally is to create the biggest and the best. When I'm saying biggest, I don't mean that by having 600-700 staff. I mean the most well-known social media agency in the world, and that's what our ambition is, and that's what we strive to do daily, and that's what drives me, and that's why I do it.
Every entrepreneur that might be listening or watching may be like feeling similar way. I mean, no, you need to be ambitious to be running something, because you need to feel it and breathe it in and out 24 hours.
You need to be a bit. Now, I mean this in the nicest possible way, but you need to be a bit crazy to even try to attempt some of this stuff, because a normal person would not do this. It takes its toll on you as well. It takes its toll on you, and I'm sure we'll touch on this as we go along. But it can be difficult. It's not as glorified as they make it out on YouTube, where you work 10 till 4, and then you go on spend time with your family, and that is it. It is literally, and me and Toni have been in this game a long time now. It's not easy. It's genuinely not easy.
It's not easy when you see people like on social with their laptop by the beach. Oh, I'm doing work by the beach, this and that. Believe not even half of it.
I saw Toni. I saw an interview, and I'm not a fan of Elon Musk at all, but I saw an interview of his, and one thing he said is stuck with me was, he goes, you literally, if you cannot tolerate working 17, 18 hours a day, getting ill, stress, blood pressure, lack of sleep, don't do it. And I agree with him 100%. It is literally what he said it is. When he means 18 hours, what he actually means is you might leave work at 5, 6, but you're still mentally going until you sleep. And sometimes you're even dreaming of good situations, bad situations, clients, and it's constant. Even if you go on holiday, like you go Spain very often, it's constant. And if you're not prepared for that, or you're not ready for that, or you think, I can switch. There's this concept that exists now. Well, if you're not up to it, then you don't have to take a meeting. If you don't take a meeting with your client when he needs to, he will leave you. And that's the facts of it. You know that, and as well, where clients want to see you have to overservice them, you have to work with them regularly. But from a point of view of entrepreneurship, it's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Hence why the failure rate is so high.
100% agree. And you might fail in one project, but then you keep going, and one day, you might succeed. So that's what that's what the passion, and the commitment is absolutely key. Then obviously my next question will be more about the challenges most entrepreneurs face. More in this case, more about the challenges when entrepreneurs that are running business more than social media, because then we will talk about a bit more the challenges in social media space.
I think the challenges are always when you're a one-man band, your challenges will be, how do we grow? How do we get clients? How do we get customers? When you start getting customers, then your challenges are, how do I find the right team members, staff? When you find the right staff, then your challenges are, how do I keep them motivated? Then when you keep them motivated, your challenges are, how do I keep the clients doing the amazing work? And it's constant. But I think you will face daily challenges, you'll face monthly challenges, you'll face quarterly challenges. I think, anything from my own personal experience, from raising finance, looking at financing teams, when me and Toni used to be together in an office, it was just me, and now we're a team of 8 to 10 of us, and that presents a different challenge to me now on how I manage them, how I look after them in a pandemic where people are getting pinged, people are getting COVID. then it's about how do we grow, how do we gain clients, and these are the constant challenges I face on a daily basis.
Sounds like obviously like very busy, but I mean it's a good like I say, I mean it's good to hear that, but because you're growing you have more challenges, so that means you're overcoming them, and then more challenges are coming. So
And
it's
I met I won't name his name, a very senior person within the marketing world, and he said to me, "The bigger the client, the bigger the problems."
100%,
And I goes
100% agree.
and that's very true. You know, the bigger the business, the bigger the problems. When you're
Yeah,
one man, you want more clients, you want a team. When you get a team, that presents its own challenges and dynamics. And that's, I don't think no course or anyone can prepare you for that. It's something you have to just be ready for and be able to learn and adapt as you go along.
absolutely. No, but it's something that you need to experience yourself. So changing the subject, but in this case, I like to talk about mental health and why is important mental health when running a business. Or obviously, know in the past year you've been open about sharing your own struggles with people, which is great. I mean, it's what most people should do, but more for others to feel like they're not alone when they struggling. I think in general, feel like obviously, like you said before, not being able to switch off. What do you think are the main struggles? When it comes to like mental health.
I think the struggles for an entrepreneur is naturally you develop anxiety because you're always thinking of in a business, cash flow, people not paying, staff, are they performing? And that naturally leads to anxiety, or some form of stress at least, But them are the two I've faced. But I was prepared for that. I knew that comes with the territory. I knew you're going to come across these obstacles, I'd call them. But from a point of view of dealing with it, I think the best way of dealing with it is basically surrounding yourself. And I know a lot of people say this, but with people that you could probably lean on for advice. And I do this, trying to have some form of fitness. I know you do a lot of this. I don't, as you can see, but I should. And trying to just basically stress and some form of anxiety comes hand in hand with running a business, whether you're Jeff Bezos or me and you, right? That is just part and parcel of it. I think the next part of it is to minimize it as much as possible. One thing I've believed in quite heavily is reinvesting into the business quite a lot. So whether that's systems, people, and processes. And then the other element is just try to keep, when it gets too much, you just switch off. What do I mean by switch off? If you need to stop at 4 o'clock, just stop. And I've had this. We had a really stressful client last 2 weeks where it was very stressful. And on Thursday last week, I just went home for 2 days. And that's my way of dealing with it. I don't go gym. I don't go to any form of fitness. I've started to play five-a-side again now, which helps me with a bit of fitness. But otherwise than that, a lot of reading, switching off when you can. And that's my way of dealing with it.
I mean, it's this thing like when you mention obviously fitness helps him quite a lot, which is obviously like exercising for me like every morning or almost every morning. It's like gets me in the mood. I'm ready to go and start the day. But like you say, knowing when to stop is the thing that I think is for everyone works, whether it is switching off and no saying to everyone else on your team or everyone, this afternoon I'm going to be I'm going to take time for myself, or tomorrow I'm going to take time for myself. But obviously take time for yourself to do something that makes you feel better, which, like you say, reading, or could be not take time for yourself to be more worried about what you're doing, or be more overthinking about you doing things like that.
I think what's not helped has that the YouTube has not helped, because a certain perception has been painted with about entrepreneurship, where so somebody starting a business will look at these people on YouTube and think, I can work 10 to 4, I'll earn $1 million a year. And then when they start doing it, because their perception is 10 to 4, they're suddenly working 7 days a week and they can't cope. That's the first problem. The second problem is if I can work in 18 hours a day, it doesn't mean you can't. If you can work 20 hours, it doesn't mean I can. You do what you can, right? You benchmark yourself and compare yourself to yourself. Don't compare yourself to Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Grant Cardone or Gary Vaynerchuk, any of these guys, because each one's individual, their mindset's individual, their circumstances are individual. So you do what you can, but do not come into running a business thinking it's easy, it's quick, it's fast, it's glamorous. It is the total opposite to that.
Yeah, and then we get quite a lot on social media, and because of that, obviously you work on social media, but then as a consumer, people like see obviously every day, like people showing how successful they are, how happy, how easy could be. That builds like some sort of like false expectations, right? So then they think that they could be a YouTuber, and in 2 weeks they could be in few months they could be making thousands and thousands and be living their dream in Thailand or wherever. And I think it's obviously it's more on a stop comparing yourself with others and try to just focusing on your own efforts, on your own passion, on the things that you really want to do, and then just on your team, on your people, and the people, like you said before, you need to surround yourself by people that help you grow, the people that are healthy, that not healthy not only physically but mentally as well.
Yeah,
great. Yeah, it's great point. That I mean, I'm gonna dive into social media, because social media, I mean, it's a big world, a big world in many different ways. I mean, from a client point of view, from an agency point of view, from a consumer user point of view, and it continues growing, keep growing and growing and growing. So what do you think are the main disadvantages of the social media these days for the younger generation? We know what it's like. We've been using it for a while, and you it's in your area. But then what do you think that as a young people will be like, social media these days, they're dealing with lots of situations?
Yeah, I think one of the big problems is you don't know what the truth is. Historically, when I was younger, you only had television, radio, and your newspapers was your form of consumption. So you weren't consuming as much. Maybe you watched 2 hours of television a day, if that. That was your average consumption. A bit of newspaper in the morning, you'd read the back pages, see what the sport was saying. For example, if you're into football, you'd read the back page. If you're in news, you'd read the front page. Now, because of social media, people's screen times are into the 5-6 hours. Some people, and you don't know what's true. If you take platforms like TikTok, they're resurfacing videos from a year ago, so that just to keep people entertained. And the reason they're doing that is they've got more eyeballs than content, so they need to keep people entertained. With Instagram, for example, if I put a reel up today, it'll probably be popular for 24 36 hours and it's gone. With TikTok, I could put a video up last year, and because they need more content, they could repurpose that. So you don't know if it's how relevant and how new or how true it is. And you've seen that with COVID and people not taking the vaccine because of so much misinformation. That's the first problem I see. The second problem I see is with social. So kids that are Gen Z especially, they take everything for face value, and the perceptions that are being painted is the lives they want to live. So that's the downside to it.
It's a big downside, actually. I mean, I think it's a big downside, because I'm not saying that we are old because we aren't, but when, like you say, we dealt with different issues in the past. It was more like we didn't have like that much time or much social media impact and lots of different, like, and it was.
And I think Tony just
It was started in a different way, but we could socialize better. I mean, because you needed to socialize, you needed to be social, but social in a way that is active.
I think some of the steps that have been taken, like Twitter is a real-time platform, so so if you look at when they've introduced, like Instagram's done something cool as well. I'll mention both of them. So if you look at Twitter, where if it's an old article, now if you go to retweet it, it mentions that it's an old article. If you, on Instagram, if it's a COVID-19 related post, or especially a story, they give you a warning underneath that don't check out your local. In the UK, it's gov.uk/COVID-19 to see what the current rules and regulations are around it, which is good. But when you're working, as a social media industry, we've made more progression in 10 years technology wise what has been made in the previous 40 years, hence why it's moved so quickly. It's actually, people said this decade is much more advanced, has made a lot of progress has happened in this decade. Yes, it has, compared to the last 40 years. We were having this conversation in the office, so we were talking about cassettes and how cassettes went to CD, and CD then went to mini disc. It was supposed to go to, but realistically CD was killed by Napster and LimeWire, because it went to MP3, and MP3 was quickly killed by streaming. You see how quick that happened. Now nobody buys music, it's streamed, Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music. Whereas the move from cassette to CD was probably 10 years, maybe longer. I don't know, I'm not that old, but
and now it's the time frame is like
from MP3 to from CD to MP3 to streaming was literally, in my opinion, less than 5-6 years. iTunes killed off MP3 very quickly. They went straight to streaming because Spotify was so popular in streaming. And then YouTube went, we need to do it. So in came YouTube Music.
I think YouTube is now, yeah.
So that element of change is why the younger audiences, the problem with social and generally, and tech, I'll call it, is the element of how things are changing so quickly.
Yeah, and it's difficult, like talking about risks involved and protection, data protection, or people, all this matter of, for example, when they get the information that they need to get verified and control all these filters and the way they control everything. It's difficult to do that because there's so much information out there, and it's so hard to control it. And I think, going, for example, talking about the case when obviously the Euro Cup, when the players, the England, unfortunately, lost the final against Italy, and then the players were all like, on Twitter and different social media, like they were like, they got like lots of bad comments, racist comments, and then they were like, it exploded, and it was difficult to control that. I think they should be doing more of that, but it's something that,
there's two sides to this. There's two sides to this. The first problem is, the reason they won't do more is because they won't. If they now say verify each profile, they'll have a drop off in profiles, which affects share price, right? So that affects, they can't then say we've got 500 million users, we've actually got 250,000 million users. That's the downside why they won't do it, and it's wrong, but that's why. The flip side is now people say Marcus Rashford got so many racist comments. I saw one newspaper say it was the thousands. I know the company which monitors the comments for football clubs, and Marcus Rashford, I think, had out of 20,000, I can't remember, it was in the thousands. Out of that, he had only 108 racial comments. So the proportion is not as big as they're making it out. It's still a problem. It needs to stop. I agree.
No, of course.
It's now, unless a new a new social media platform, unless TikTok goes, you're right, you have to be verified. The problem they won't verify is because of the drop off, is what they're fearing. And if the drop off happens, then they can't shout about it that we've got a billion downloads, a 700 million active users, and then the share price. That's where the problem is, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's a bigger the big picture as well. The problem is bigger because it's about the shares and the partners, everyone like involved, and it's a big business. They're not gonna be how they can prove they gone down half of the users straight.
I would say more. I would say 3/4 they'll drop off.
Yeah, it's because of the money, really.
Then in third world countries, which don't have a digital driving licenses and verification system, how do you verify him then?
Yeah,
and that's the problem. Then, so they have the money to look at this and invest in this and try to resolve it. They will not resolve it. They will leave it as it is, because you've had so many issues because of social media and profiles with a picture of Paul Pogba giving abuse to people, a picture of Boris Johnson, and they would have put something in place by now if they wanted to.
Yes, there's lots of it's a big investment to make, and lots of resources and time, and they spending that time and resources. They should be spending also in developing the channels and making it easier for the user, more entertaining, and for clients, companies as well, to use it and make the most of it. So talking about the client side of things, agency side, when you deal with lots of different clients, different situations, I believe every client is different, but they all have some challenges, issues in common, or things that they need or they encounter. That is how you help them. Bilal, someone comes to your agency, and you say, okay, you need this and that, and then you might not need this to be in this channel. You might not need to invest in this. So, what are the main challenges you feel like that you think? Well, as from your own experience.
Brands come to us as a social media agency when they're really stuck on social media. So either they're not generating sales, lack of brand awareness, or they are at a point where they've plateaued and they can't think of new ideas. So the common challenges we come across is we're not generating sales or brand awareness. So we then at that point have spent a lot of time in trying to understanding the client and why is this happening. Is the product right? Is the brand right? Is the pricing right? Is for example, if you take fashion, a lot of new fashion brands want to start, but they underestimate the cost of acquiring the customer. They underestimate the cost of building a brand, and they don't have it. And these are the challenges we face daily with clients. And then it's trying to establish a way around it, or if the client is not right for us and we cannot deliver, we'll be honest as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a difficult question to reply just in a couple of minutes because the different projects, different size brands with challenges, and from my own experience, I can tell for the ones listening, for me, I have support sometimes with the people that help in publish content, create content. But if you don't have a plan or strategy, or you don't spend some time kind of like analyzing what you need, all of that, it just doesn't work, because social media is not a place where you just go one day and publish something, then just go another day and then do something different, and then you kind of like shooting everywhere and you don't know what you're doing. So, and you can tell very well people, you can tell the audience very well, this is not how it works. You need to follow, and it's consistency. Absolutely. So what part plays consistency and the strategy within social media?
I think strategy and the strategy is the key, but more important than strategy is patience. Because there's a perception with digital marketing that you just start and off it goes, and you work in SEO and people say, why am I not getting traffic? Why is there nobody coming on my website? And Patience is important. Digital media is quicker than traditional, but it's not a button that you switch on and suddenly everybody's buying. I think that's the most important thing. Then strategy. Once you've got strategy, implementation, and then after implementation is learning and adapting.
I'm gonna make a massive sign with the last words. Patient. No, because it's
Patience, yeah,
true, and
it is. They don't
it's
have
it's
patience.
I mean, it's true, and it happens almost every all the time. Because obviously we want to get to that one place and we want a shortcuts. But there is no shortcut. I mean, if you need to spend X amount of time, hours, putting the work, this and that, and investing the money in ads or improving optimizing your website or whatever it is, you need to put the time, and things don't happen overnight. So yeah, that's what we sometimes more than marketeers, we are kind of like I don't know, counselors, counselors. Yeah, we're just trying to listen and try to you don't. Takes time. This takes time. Try to convince them. It's funny, but it's true. It's true. It's true. So yeah, we almost. I mean, at the end of the interview, but I'd like to, for example, ask you if you have if you could mention a few tools, softwares, or any tactic or something on social media that you couldn't live without.
So I think there's a number of tools that I think are really helpful and that play an important part for what we do. So, for example, the Adobe suite is very important to what we do. Canva is very important to what we do. From a scheduling point of view, we use a very advanced system called Agora Pulse, which is one of the leading scheduling tools out there. Is also very important for what we do. And then lastly is the platforms themselves, learning from them, seeing what's happening on them, and just seeing from other brands and people what they do as well.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of the tools, when you say obviously Canva, because you need to design what about when it comes to like how much time do you dedicate to be learning and updating yourself? Because this is something that clients or most people that are not working in digital marketing, they're not aware of how much time to dedicate to teach yourself, to teach your team, to learn updates, what's going on in Instagram, what's new, what's all of that. How much time do you dedicate, or you recommend people dedicating?
Our social media team is constantly learning as they're going along. Me personally, I dedicate about 3 hours a day.
Speak time. Yeah, it's a lot of time.
It is. I'm learning, not just when I'm saying learning the social media element, other elements as well. In regards to our team, like we've just done a mood board this morning for a campaign, and we spent about 2-3 hours on that. That was all learning. So we do a lot of learning in house because the industry and trends change so quickly.
Yeah, but it's similar with SEO and any other area. To be fair, these things are changing and evolving. Google is rolling out updates and changing things, and same social media channels and platforms are constantly changing and evolving. And I agree with you. It's learning, and implementing. But while you're doing something with your team or while you're implementing, you're learning, you can implement at the same time. You try things around. Because one of my last questions is about, because I work quite a lot with healthcare businesses, and then we run a group helping healthcare businesses as well, and some trainings and stuff. And there's so much I think it's more like there's so many misconceptions about social media, and also some blocking issues when it comes to like setting content and things that the healthcare sector lives with it, and the clients find themselves. And I know you work with you have some experience in the past with different clients. So what would you be, from your own experience within the healthcare sector and social media, what would you think would be a good advice? Because I know from experience that they sometimes don't want to share this video, don't want to share this, or making this story, this and that. And they need to put themselves out there, but there are also some moments or situations when it's hard to communicate.
I think with healthcare, any form of healthcare brand, I think it needs to focus in on educating people about the business, the brand, the benefits. What a lot of healthcare businesses do is they just go to try selling, number one. Number two is a lot of the content they produce, whether that's imagery, video, is very boring. Very, very boring, very out of touch with what's happening on the platforms themselves. If I'm on any of the leading platforms, I am on there to be entertained or educated. That's it. I'm not on there to look at a 2-minute video on how this care home can help my mother. I'm not interested in that. I want to be educated and I want to be entertained within. You've got 3 seconds to get my attention, and then I want it wrapped up in 15, 20 seconds and I'm done. That's what you're working. That's the framework. And a lot of them just do not get it because they don't consume it, they don't understand it, and they want the platforms to adapt to how they work, when in reality, they have to adapt to how the platforms work.
Yeah, and I understand them in some ways, because in some ways it's like, obviously you need to adapt, but then they are like, I need someone to advise me on that. They need to open themselves to an agency or consultant, someone that can explain them, or you need to create this entertaining video. Otherwise, nobody in this world is gonna watch it, interact it, or engage with it, or you're not gonna get any traction at all. And it's difficult, obviously, with TikTok or all of that. But maybe they don't need to be on TikTok, but they need to be on Instagram or Facebook. They need to create something that is impactful. But I think that's a big challenge, and we could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. But I think if any healthcare or any business owner listening to us, or watching, I think it's about just getting the right advice, but then also trying things that are outside of what everyone else is doing. And it's difficult. So in order to do that, you need to invest, and you know very well, Bilal, you need to invest. It's not something that, I'm gonna get my cousin or someone that I know that is a friend of a friend that does it for £50. No, run away! Don't do that shit. And I'm doing this because it's happening. This is still happening these days. If you want to get your business,
if a client says, I've got a friend who can do it for X amount, like you said, 50, then that tells you that they are completely out of touch with how this works. Because after that one piece of content, what are you going to do then tomorrow? What are you going to do on Thursday? What are you doing on Monday? And this is there you go. So then they don't understand it. They don't understand
crying.
It, and
they're gonna cry. They're just gonna cry and wait.
Because my point is that they think like you used to put a video out and it would last you on television for weeks or months, or you put it on the website and people would see it. Nobody cares now. People forget within a couple of hours.
Totally, it's so true. It's so true. But what can we do? If you really want to do something in life and invest, grow, and take risks, and go for the things that you really want. Just to finalize, it's been an absolutely pleasure to have you, honestly, I know you're really, really busy, and then you obviously you're managing teams, you're doing lots of stuff yourself, work, and I appreciate that. And I just want to, last words, say something that that you want to say to the audience, and then how they could find you, your agency on social?
Firstly, thank you for listening. If you want to find me, just search me on any of the platforms, Bilal Lipstick, and I will come up. In regards to social, I'll just say patience is key.
Very well. Yeah, I'll take that. Patience and lots of work and effort. And put lots of love as well. Lots of love that we need to put the things that we do. I know Bilal does it with the team, and they put love and fun as well. And thanks everyone for listening. Those with the listening and the ones that are watching on YouTube. Thanks for watching. This has been another session, and we had Bilal today, and we will continue running other sessions as well. And we appreciate you. And if you love it and like it, leave a comment and ask any questions. Share with your people. Share the love and spread it with someone that might be interested. So take care, everyone. Thanks, Bilal. Take care, mate.
Thank you.
Speak soon. Appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.